Welcome back, everyone, and welcome back to another Girl Power Day Zero build. Today's Day Zero build is Lady Nagant. She is a 6 hand size, 28 health character with the villain keyword and air, evil, and void for her symbols. I've chosen to go the air route, and you'll see why shortly if you're looking to the side. If you're looking to the side, everything's backwards for me. You probably already know why. But she has a response, commit, add the top card of your deck to your card pool. So she commits herself, puts a card in your card pool. After your rival plays a non-character enhance ability, cancel it. So this can be pretty significant, especially in keeping yourself alive or preventing your rival from committing your cards, reducing your damage. Really solid. And then she has a form once per turn. So a form ability is anytime you could play a card during your turn, like if you would play in a foundation or an attack that's playing a form. So a form ability is something you can use at any point during your turn when you could play a card from your hand. And it says, play one foundation from your stage face down as a 2 difficulty ranged high attack with 3 speed and 3 damage. After it resolves, clear it or draw 1 card. Now, this foundation does not have to be ready. It does not have to be face down already. So you could play a committed face up foundation face down and basically get this free 3 high 3. And then if it deals, after it resolves, you can either clear it or draw 1 card, which is always really cool. So let's get into her attacks. First off, we've got Sniping Spy. This is her Ultra, 5 mid for 3. It's got ranged weapon. I believe everything in this deck has ranged weapon. Yes, everything has ranged weapon because we're playing Storm of Arrows. So Sniping Spy, you can clear a card from your card pool. This attack gets X damage. X equals 5 minus the printed check value of the cleared card. And if you clear a face down card, that is 5 minus 0. So this can become a 5 mid for 8. Because face down, it checks for the check value while it's in the card pool, and that would be printed 0. So clearing a face down gives you plus 5 damage, which is handy for Storm of Arrows. Because Storm of Arrows is a 4 high 5 ranged weapon with Echo, so after it resolves you may spend a momentum to play it again from your card pool. But as a static, it says you may spend a ranged weapon attack from your card pool as if it were momentum to pay for this card's Echo ability. So you play something like a Sniper's combo or a Sniping Spy. Play Storm of Arrows on a 6, and when you Echo it, you clear the attack from your card pool, play this on a 5 instead of a 6, and you're throwing another 4 high for 5. Really strong, and then it turns itself face down after it resolves because you've echoed. So if you play Sniping Spy on a 5 and clear the echoed Storm of Arrows, this becomes a 5 mid for 8. So let's just say your rival tapped out pretty hard on their turn, and your Walk the Dog here, which is our next attack, is a 4 diff. You play this on a 4, or even a 5 as your opener is not bad. You can stun 1, enhance, draw a card for each copy of Walk the Dog in your card pool, so it replaces itself. Then you Storm of Arrows on a 6, Echo Storm of Arrows by clearing Walk the Dog, play it on a 5. Then after it flips, play Sniping Spy on a 5, and clear your face down card for plus 5 damage, and you've thrown 6, 11, 16, 24 damage over the course of 4 attacks with only 3 attacks in hand. That's not including using your form, if need be, to throw an extra 3 damage in there. So really, really solid. We've got Call of the Reaper. It's a combo that combos with a weapon. All of our attacks are weapon. And the combo enhance basically just says, ready all cards committed to pass the check to play this attack that have not been readied already. So you just play it, and basically it plays itself for free. You can just ready all the foundations you readied to commit it. So it's practically a free attack, which is really cool because it's 5 damage. It's ranged, it's weapon. We have a lot of stuff in our kit that boosts ranged and weapon attacks. So playing this as a free attack, as long as it combos with something like Walk the Dog or Sniping Spy, really solid. And then Sniper's combo is a 3 mid 4 that can clear itself if it's preceded by a ranged attack or a face down card. So if we've used our form or we've echoed with Storm of Arrows, we can use this to basically be another free attack that clears itself, which is really solid. Every attack in here is pushing the goal of keeping our progressive low by clearing other cards from our card pool while throwing on immense offensive pressure. She is built to be a 6-hand size aggro in the air symbol, at least as I've built her. But defensively, we have access to Cape of No Return. You remove it, you remove the current attack from the game. It's perfect for just yeeting a rival attack that you don't have to deal with. It says bye-bye. Action-wise, we have Airy Smiles, a great defensive action. Also good for stacking a 5 or a 6 check on top of your deck in case you need to extend your string. But mainly it's here for the flip a foundation. After you block with it, your rival has to play a non-attack card. And then we have Seizing the Advantage. This gives our attacks speed. So like Walk the Dog can become an 8 speed. Sniping Spy can become a 7 speed. It's there to boost our speed and then build itself as a foundation and flip a rival foundation. So we can flip their damage reduction, their speed reduction, while gaining an additional foundation to play more attacks. So really, really strong. It does boost your progressive a little bit, but it's worth it in the end. Especially if you're playing it like for a Call of the Reaper to make it a 5 mid-5, and then when it builds itself down, you have it in front of after a weapon card, so then it can ready all of the foundations you inevitably had to commit. Moving on to our foundations, we have Personal Reload. This is just here to cycle cards from your hand. You flip it as a first enhance, discard a foundation, draw a card. Your attack's going to get 1 speed. It's less about the speed and more about the the card filtering, so on your kill turn you can try to draw more attacks. Pressured by All for One is amazing foundation destruction to keep you out of deadlock, as well as boosting your attack by 3 damage. So when you commit your cards, you can then get rid of them for 3 damage while you're clearing your card pool to keep your progressive low, so you don't worry about losing your foundations as much. Rifle Arm can give plus or minus speed. Depending on if it's the only attack in the card pool, you get plus or minus more speed, so that's fun. Curious about quirks, it's just free draw. It's free draw because your rival's almost always going to be using their character's ability, so it's just more free draw. Cheerleader, great defensive ability, give your rival's attack flash so they can't do anything to it. We've got 28 health, so we can afford to take a few hits if need be. Or if we just know they can't block a 6 low 6, we can just make Walk the Dog flash before they can reduce it and just push 6 damage through. Mother's Embrace. This is a Vox Machina card that says after you clear a card from your card pool, you ready this card by flipping it, and that's playable while committed. It's tenacious. So this foundation will count as 2 on your kill turns, which is really, really good. Again, when you're drawing cards with Curious About Quirks, Personal Reload, Walk the Dog, we want to draw more attacks, so we want to play more attacks. This is definitely a play more, get more type of deck, which is why we have Venture Forth from Signorn? I don't know. I don't watch Vox Machina. But as a form, you remove it, draw 2 cards. You're not allowed to play foundations for the rest of the turn. That's fine. We just want to draw all of our attacks, throw all of our attacks, clear our card pool, and just run people over. Speaking of clearing our card pool, Master of the Wind gives our attack 3 damage if it's the only card in our card, or the only attack in our card pool. I believe that also counts for her form because you're playing the foundation as an attack, so after you played the attack, so you can get a 3 high for 6 at the end of a string on a 2 difficulty move. That's pretty solid. If we're pumping a bunch of damage on these cards, our rival's going to want to block a lot, so they're going to lose all the cards in their hand pretty quickly. Banshee Sword Shriek, again, we want to boost our weapons damage, and this just flips for 2 damage, which is really good on a spam. Crowd's Darling, as a form, we can discard a momentum. Our checks to play weapon attacks get +1 for the rest of the turn, so that's really solid, especially when you're clearing your card pool to get that +1 that +1 to your checks when you're playing on 5s and 6s, and then constantly clearing your card pool. This basically means it should be the only time you need to commit foundations. Nice Try commits on our turn to pass checks, readies on our rival's turn for -2 speed. Solid. Heroic Assistance. It's great anti-stun. If our rival commits something in our board, we can flip this to ready 2 foundations that haven't been readied. Osui's Friendship. I've actually tuned to this card a lot lately, because it says after your ranged attack deals damage, your rival commits 2. So they commit 2 foundations after your attack deals damage. If they can't block the first or second, like if you open with Walk the Dog and they can't block it, you just auto-commit 2, then you can blow this up with another foundation for Pressured by All for 1 for 3 damage. That's going to make all of your stuff just so much harder to deal with. Can't Escape Me. This is just great for anti-draw. And then Basic Training. It's just a spam that puts 1 damage on one of our attacks. So the one that we're guaranteed to push through, we just throw all of these on. And in Deadlock, even if it's committed, it can give +1 speed to all of our attacks, as long as our rival is at least 11 foundations. So that is my down and dirty Lady Nagant deck. It's just hyper-aggressive, clear your card pool. Air is not very good at throwing damage, which is why you need like your Pressured for All for 1s, your Master of the Wind. If you're clearing your card pool, you can throw maybe more Master of the Wind in here. It's just a really solid, just hyper-aggressive, you want to kill them in 1 turn kind of deck. So maybe build for 2 turns, use your form to play this 3/3 and then draw the card, as opposed to clearing it. So then maybe it gets dealt as deals damage. Maybe you can put it in momentum, and then just you're off to the races. That's your momentum for Crowd's Darling. There is no other momentum out in this deck, because Storm of Arrows can clear your attacks, so you don't have to worry about that. But all in all, just a really solid, well, maybe really solid, but a very hyper-aggressive take on an air ranged weapon Storm of Arrows deck. I didn't think Lady Nagant was really good when I first read her and her support. I thought it was pretty lacking, until I saw Storm of Arrows and Sniping Spy and thought, got a pretty good Innsmouth deck that's running something like this. Let me see if I can convert it into a hyper-aggressive Lady Nagant, and I can honestly say I'm looking forward to giving this deck a shot and seeing what I can do with it. But what do you guys think? Do you think Air is the way to go with Nagant, with this kind of hyper-aggressive self-clearing strategy? Or do you have something you want to try on Evil or Void? Which do you think is her best symbol? What are some ideas you have for her? And if you like this deck, please like the video, and I'll see you in the next one, guys. Take care.